Flight Boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Aries Moon. Flight Boss, the Archangel URIEL, and Doelow here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, we're going to talk about all religions worship the fire element. Now, I must make a disclaimer because people don't get a clear understanding. So I need you to go do all the research you can on the fire element in general. Understand what the fire element does. Understand what the fire element is doing. And it's all going to make sense. Now, also, you're going to have so many people under so many programs, under so many realms of realities, under so many illusions of lights, under words and language and things of that nature, that they're not even going to understand how I correlate the two, how I correlate religion to the fire element. But these are the same people who will sit here and describe their religion and basically describe everything I'm getting ready to talk about that's revolving around the fire element. So, I don't necessarily have time to sit down and break down all the mental cages that your spirit been in. As far as when someone comes and makes sense to you, your oversoul or your religion has an answer for that, has a question for that, or has an answer for that, and things of that. And we're not here to break people through all these bondages that they're under. I'm here to spark something so you can realize what's going on. Now, another disclaimer. Me calling myself the Archangel URIEL. I understand the baggage that the word URIEL carries. I understand the language. But what I do understand is vibrational frequencies and knowing what do I match. And if that word represents my vibrational energy that I've been doing before I even known that word URIEL, then that's the only reason I attach to that name. But I don't give a fuck about URIEL in general, the name. You see what I'm saying? So you have to understand everything is vibration. Frequency vibrations, right? The lettering and the wording is the frequency. The energy that is carrying is the vibration. So, now, let's talk about all religions worshiping the fire element. Now, when you break it down, now, the whole purpose of an angel, aka an angle, a high view, a high perception, a high point of view, a high angle. I'm coming from another angle. You see what I'm saying? That's what angels do. So don't correlate angel with a religion. Angels come down here with different perspectives, different point of views. So if you're revolved in a point of view, then you don't understand. And this is the reason why in every religion, angels even came down in the way of having fire or things of that nature or destroying things, because we're here. Our purpose is here to bring wholeness. But when we come into a realm of reality and when we come into certain dimensions, all we see is separation, and within these separations be wholeness. So we have to come destroy wholenesses, because each wholeness is a form of a separation. So this is what angels is doing. We're higher in consciousness than your oversoul or your preachers. You see what I'm saying? They don't understand this. Now, let's talk about what's actually being done and why every religion worships the fire element. Look at your religion, right? Now, understand the elements. So when you get fire, fire represents the spirit. It represents flame. It represents heat. It represents transformation. See, the bad and good out of religion come out of the fire. You know what I'm saying? When it's good, that's when they talk about its transformation. When it's bad, that's when they talk about it being death. You see what I'm saying? When it's good, that's when they talk about it being the light. When it's bad, that's when they talk about it you burning in some type of flame. You see what I'm saying? But it's the same shit. When it's heaven, that's when you being absorbed in light. When it's hell, that's when you burning in a pool of fire. But the last time I checked, it takes heat for light to create fire. You see what I'm saying? And all these is from the same elemental sources. Now let's take it a step further. You got the 4 elements. You got fire, water, earth, and air, right? So let's say the representation of fire is being, the light from the fire is being illusionized and shaped and formed into whatever a man wants this fire to be. So what happens when fire becomes the worship? It don't want you to utilize no water. So look in all religions that says something about your emotions and feelings. It say don't trust your emotions. Don't trust your feelings. Don't trust your own psyche. You know what I'm saying? You have to look towards the word, the language, the 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 law, the snakiness behind it. I'm an Aries sun sign, a Sagittarius moon sign, a Leo rising, and Aries in the 4th house. Don't tell me shit about no motherfucking fire. If anybody gonna sit here and describe some fire, I can describe it in all modalities. In the electricity, as far as the cardinal Aries, in the mutable water fluid light, as far as the Sagittarius, the pool of fire, and the motherfucking campfire that's gonna heat everything and make sure it's cooked. The Leo fire. So I'm all forms of fire. So don't come telling me that I'm wrong. You see what I'm saying? I know when a piece of me is being utilized by other humans to be formalized to what they thoughts is. Now look at it from water. They don't want you to use your emotions and feelings in your psyche. They don't want you to go within. They want you to go without and look at the worst, which is truth in going without, just not their version of without. You see what I'm saying? Now let's look at the earth element. Stability, grounding, you know what I'm saying? Structure. So they don't want you to take no form and materialistic, which that's true, but just not their version of truth. Don't put yourself into a thing, but they give you a book. They cut down a tree and give you a book, but tell you don't put your own mind into any other material thing. So you see how fire is trying to burn away the water, and now it's trying to evaporate the water, and now it's trying to burn away the earth. It's even telling you that you in a body, which you in a physical density version of a deity, right? But they go tell you, and then they tell you to go be vampire. On every first Sunday, they tell you to eat the flesh and drink the blood of Jesus. So you are a vampire. But you'll watch a vampire movie and they'll tell you it's evil. But they go into the church on first Sunday and do the same ritual, do the same spell. So who right or wrong? Or is this we're picking a greater evil over the other? You see what I'm saying? Now, they want you to deal away with earth. Now let's look at air. Air. Thinking, communicating, analyzing, being here and there, being able to breathe and analyze the circumstance and the surroundings that you're in, right? What do religion tell you? Don't use your own intellect. You can't trust the word, but it wants you to trust that word. You can't use your own rationality. Don't use your own thoughts. So this is a fire motherfucker that's telling you not to use the other 3 elements. And in this realm of reality, it's taking shape and form into all the thoughts and ideas of men. You see what I'm saying? And you can't get around it. People have to understand that God is the devil. And then what's going on now is you have a lot of people who are awakened to that. So they're taking the God from the devil and placing it into another devil. When you have to understand, for something to be called a God, a master, for anything to have a title in general, that's devil consciousness. You even got a science out now that people trying to say, quit calling Yahweh God, because that's like calling the true overall a name. It's like calling a true overall a bitch. No, you have to understand, that's just a higher form of a name, of a title. Yahweh ain't God either. You see what I'm saying? You motherfucking Hebrews. All you did was leave one philosophy and go to the other philosophy, and you predicated that based upon dates and locations and language being used. When dates, location, and language being used is the problem in the first place. Listen, you need to understand these things, but you can't understand it from a person that's of this land. I came from many different realms and realities, many different dimensions. If you want to talk about the one dimension, when we was in a universe within the being that we came out of, you want to call it your father and things of that nature. That's overall a one dimension. Just being in that thought, just being a thought that's formulated to become a spirit or a sperm or however you want to call it. But it just in that dimension, you have to go through all 9 dimensions. Then you go on your mother, go through all 9 dimensions. Then you go on the 3rd dimension, where we at now, go through all 9 dimensions. Then you go on the 4th dimension. But your consciousness awareness is always going to be intact. So if you was a person who went through all 9 dimensions, and no matter what reality is, you got all 9 dimensions consciousness. So it don't matter what dimension you're in, experiencing all the dimensions, you're going to have all dimension consciousness. And this is what you have to understand. If you are a person that's in Christianity, Hebrew, I don't give a fuck what it is. You haven't elevated, you haven't experienced all dimensions. Because when you go through all dimensions, it leads to one dimension anyway. So if you still dealing with separation on any sort, you fall short. You fall short. You still got people saying that the black woman is God, when the black species itself ain't the first species. You see what I'm saying? There's no such thing as a black woman. There's no such thing as black people. A white person gave you that theology. And since you started complaining about that, you forced them to give you a better name for it. African American. And you're not African or American. It's like, this is what happens when the conscious community use too much logic in the conscious community. You have a bunch of soulless people. This is what you got in the conscious community. People who start saying the technology, the black woman is God, and make all these. This is what you got. You got soulless, spiritless motherfuckers who are consciously aware. Remind you, a robot can be consciously aware. You got a computer. The computer is consciously aware that you are typing in buttons, motherfucker. So a dormant, dumbass motherfucker could be consciously aware. But when you have spiritless, soulless, and the spirit and the soul is the same thing. The spirit is just without, the soul is within. So the spirit is when it's just a frequency. Soon as the frequency start vibrating, that's when a spirit went into a realm of reality. When you have an idea, the moment you express it, the moment you get a feeling, a vibration about that idea, that spirit went into a realm of reality. That spirit has become a soul. This is why grandmothers when they make food, they make soul food. Because they harmonizing, they singing. Look, they had an idea to cook. That was the frequency. Now, how that frequency is vibrating is how the food is being cooked. If she had an idea of some chicken, that was the frequency. How that chicken is being cooked is the vibration. She's singing, humming and shit over the chicken and shit. Be the best piece of motherfucking chicken you ever ate in your motherfucking life. See what I'm saying? Soul food. You got to understand what the fuck is going on. So once you really understand that, you understand that it doesn't matter what vessel you in. You eating motherfucking souls. If you're a human, the moment you eat fruit, lettuce, meat, you're eating forms of vibrations of souls, of spirits. That's it. So next, if you're a Christian, you want to know what would make you, like, you a preacher and you probably looking at this video and trying to figure out all kind of wrong things about this. But you know what will make me respect you? Look, I don't even have to believe Christianity or any religion, right? But you know what will make me respect it, and you know what will show me that you really got strength, and I'm really the fire element. So this is strength, and whatever your oversoul, this is what your oversoul will really like. The moment I see that you preacher, the moment I see that you're strong enough to walk around naked, even when everyone else who in your religion ain't strong enough to walk around naked. The moment I see you stepping in your power to not kill another life, to create fabrics on your clothes and shit like that. The moment I see you following, the moment I see you, soon as you see a woman preaching or something, or doing things like that, curse her out. I mean, follow your religion to the T. Then that's when I will believe that you a real Christian. Anything other than that It's bullshit and confusion amongst the right and left brain, and I don't understand why you putting yourself in that kind of hell for yourself. Because if you're not doing everything in it, then you're being what the Bible is actually telling you not to do. You're doing that. You're acting in the land of Babel. You're acting in confusion of language. You're going around telling other people that they're confused when the whole reason you have to do that in the first place is because you're confused. You're the one trying to decipher the language. You're the one trying to tell everybody else that they got it wrong. You're the one taking all your days and experience of life trying to decipher why this one religion is better than the other religions. So everything in the Bible that you're going to preach other people not to do, you're missing the point. The Bible is telling you that you're the one doing that, and you shouldn't be the one doing that. You see what I'm saying? When the Bible is talking about hell, Babel, the Bible is not telling you to go preach people not to do these things because they're going to be damnation in hell. The Bible is telling you that you're in hell, and the stuff that you're going to be doing is the reason why you're in hell. So preachers who preach, you're preaching to be in hell. You're not preaching to tell people that you're getting out of hell. Start to understand what you're reading. I don't get it. We're in the age of Aquarius. It's 2017. Gaia is fucking self ain't even in 3D anymore. Gaia itself in 5D. So you got a bunch of humans catching all this 5-dimensional energy and still trying to conflate it with 3-dimensional shit. This is why religion is falling short and preachers is having a harder and harder time connecting this to people. And the Bible is telling you, your own Bible is telling you this is what's going to happen. And you're the one that's blind telling people that the end times is here and this is everything that's going to happen. And you're the living example of the end time. There's going to be people confused of language. There's going to be people here who tell others that you shouldn't reclaim to a religion. There's going to be people here telling you that you're going to be blinded. Your own book is telling you, and you're taking it as you're supposed to tell other people this is what they're doing. No, the Bible that you're reading is telling you this is what you're doing. You're the example of the end time. So if you are a preacher right now, you are a living example of the end times. Just know that. You are a living example of a person in hell. Just know that. You are a living example of a confused sheep. Just know that. You are a living example of a person who is in hell and will not ascend because you're not consciously aware. Just know that. Just know that. And everything else will start flowing in. You don't have to worry about, you don't want to, you see, you got people who this is the whole, look, I don't give a fuck. The book is about astrology, but it's not. You even got the people in the conscious community who's now trying to tell you that the sun and everything and Jesus is all this is about religion is an astrology book. It's not that either. It's not that either. It's not that either. I'm trying to tell you, these planets once walked a Earth. You so far in religion, you don't even know that Earth ain't Earth. Earth is an element. The planet that you on just share a lot of Earth qualities. But you will go dive into the most beginnings of a science that's teaching you something about Earth, and then their way of teaching it is talking about it as a planet. So all your knowledge that you think you can make sense out of is coming to that. When in general, I'm here telling you as Archangel URIEL, Earth ain't even a planet. Earth is an element. So now you have to think. All sciences that was built around Earth being a planet is wrong. Do you see what I'm saying? So take that back to God, titles, Yahshua, Yahweh, all that. Just because something has been called God later on and it had a previous name, what you need to understand is that a name for that existence in general, all of it is wrong. So you still wasting your time, and this is the reason why people who got videos talk about Yahweh, when you go under their comments, it's still people disagreeing. And they would sit here and be like, no, it's right. It's right. And they got all the science in the world, where I'm telling you in general that that's wrong too. Because somebody created that shit too. I'm Archangel URIEL. And before you even can get to the concepts of Abion, you have to actually experience and live through dimensions. And I understand that not a lot of people have experienced all the dimensions yet. Some people have never left 3D dimension. So even when they was in a mother and went into when they was in a father, came out as a sperm and went into their mother, came out as an egg and came into the third dimension, and to the physical third dimension. Their conscious awareness never left the third dimension. So in the third dimension, they're never going to perceive anything higher than the third dimension. You got some people who never left the fifth dimension. So yeah, in the third dimension, they can perceive the fifth dimension and shit like that. But that's as far as they can go. So this is like preachers. They know how to take in the spirit, aka take in the fire. They know how to take in the fire and be used by Oversoul to be a mini version Oversoul over others and cater to a large church or something like that. So they know how to tap in that far. But if the deity can only go as high as a fifth dimensional deity, then that's going to be as high as the dimension your God going to be. And I'm here as Archangel URIEL telling you that that's not the highest God. So just because that's the highest you could perceive, that's your fault. And you're going to have to live here a few hundred more thousand times to experience all the dimensions before you can ascend. And that's what the Bibles was telling you. It was just men and women who experienced thousands of years in certain vessels, and it may have took 2,000 years in a certain dimension for them to ascend to what you see above you now. But what's above you having above, and what's above them having above. So how far are you in hell? And I'm in hell telling you in hell. And I am an Archangel URIEL. And the revelation and the rapture is here now. And you ain't on the side that you thought you was on. Flight boss, bitch. Goddamn. And